Science is a question it cannot answer, and religion has a paradigm it cannot shift. Did matter come from non-matter? And did life come from non-life? Paradigm shift. Paradigm shift. Warning. Paradigm shift. Warning. Paradigm shift. Warning. Paradigm shift. Warning. Paradigm shift. Warning.
It's not until you see the proper animation of our solar system that it becomes clear that the filament is the key to how the planets form, which is to say they formed along this filament called the Birkland Current. Birkland Currents are long filaments of plasma that stretch throughout the universe and are an interconnected web. Our solar system formed along one of these Birkland Currents when a pinch called a Z-pinch occurred, which is where Zeus gets his bolt from. In our model, current was flowing in one direction,
and a negative charge was flowing in the other direction.
And if there is a current, the system is considered to have pressure, called voltage. And so we can say that we have a live wire. When a pinch occurs in that wire, an electrical current can't flow freely along the plasma field line.
There was a resistance.
When an electric current can't flow freely along the plasma field line, it is forced to be stored at a right angle and at a left angle in mechanisms that store electricity in a field of magnetism. On one side, the pressure was frozen into atoms through capacitance, and on the other side, the charge was stored in atoms through inductance. These two primary forces are just ways of converting energy into matter as a function of storing an electrical charge. This pinch, which will eventually become our star, but not until much later, is responsible for nearly all of the physical matter of our solar system. This sun origin for all matter is why our lives are influenced by astrology. All of the planets, and indeed all of us, are made up of the same matter that came from the exact same Z-pinch, and we are all subtly influenced by spooky action at a distance. At high energy, a Z-pinch will form a structure called a plasma stability. This is Zeus in ancient mythology. This orbiting magnetic field around the waist is called Hera, Zeus's faithful wife. This part of the structure is electric, and this part of the structure is magnetic. This Z-pinch freezes matter into existence under high voltage, and this magnetic loop attracted the lightest elements of helium and hydrogen, forming a gas giant. And so I'm going to propose that Neptune and Uranus, the two gas giants, formed as the rotating belt of the plasma stability, attracting the initial gases. There was a pinch, and Uranus and Neptune formed left and right, and grew over an incubation period as the current and charge were being stored. They are the same size because they balanced each other. Jupiter comes next. And the planet baffles scientists today because no one knows that the planet is electric. The vortexes in the North Pole represent the functions of the chaos electrical circuit created by Leon Chua, and the electrical circuit can be aligned by the vortex that has a tower because the tower is a function of memristance, memory resistance.
In 2018, scientists using images obtained by NASA's Cassini spacecraft observed an unexpected, towering vortex far above the famous hexagon. A Science Alert report on the observation stated, "There's something strange over Saturn's North Pole. A tremendous structure towering high above the clouds indicates that the planet's peculiar hexagonal formation is much, much bigger than was initially apparent."
This portion of the circuit is part of the process needed for freezing light as it turns the three-phase electrical feed into a direct current, which can be stored in a capacitor and an inductor. Because conversion from a three-phase to a direct current would necessarily happen first, that is, you can't have some things on alternating current and some things on direct current, and you do this so that they operate as a whole. Jupiter goes at the very top of the circuit, above the resistance. Jupiter, pronounced Ayupiter, is a variation on Zeus Pater, which is this guy. But Jupiter is given the name of Zeus Pater also because it is known as the inputter and outputter of the original current.
Jupiter represents a massive positive charge that grew in a resonating pinched vortex north of the Z-pinch, and this positive polarity forced the creation of a massive negative polarity south of the Z-pinch. This is the cause and formation of Saturn. Saturn sat as the electron-emitting ground in this phase. In this state, it was in a glow mode, with ancient accounts calling it the turquoise sun, and that sun sat and turned at the bottom of the circuit. Its specific vibration acted as an emitter of electrons, meeting the proto-elements from the Z-pinch to form manna from heaven. Everything it landed on grew. Where did that manna fall? It was collected by the three Gorgon sisters, forming the surfaces of the planets Mars, Earth, and Venus. It's time for Stinky to tell you about the severed testicles.
In what mythology often calls an egg, a positive and negative polarity formed inside of the egg, like a pair of testicles.
Athena and Mars were twins, don't you know?
On the top of the egg was a singularity with a negative charge, surrounded by a bronze core. And this bronze core is responsible for what we call today our magnetosphere. The ancients named this core Athena, and the shield it provides is why Athena carries a bronze shield. Her shield is also the resulting magnetosphere that protects us. In the bottom of the egg was a ferrous magnet in the shape of a red-limbed man, and that would become the core of the planet Mars. Pressure built up inside the egg until it broke, and the severed testicles fell.
The positive flow towards the resistance is recorded several ways, such as the turquoise sun, which is an affect of the memristive force and was captured by Leon Chua in the final part of our diagram.
And the falling Mars then turned around and hit the proto-Earth, and in mythology it is said Mars and Athena had an incestuous relationship. From this impact, the regular flow of current reversed, causing a she-Zeus, according to mythology, a Z-pinch in reverse. This caused a coronal charging in the northern pole of the Earth, with the positive pressure from Mars creating a negative pressure, a she-Zeus, that formed Venus. And it did so by pulling the clay surface of the Earth up in a cold cathode discharge. That allowed Venus to form a ceramic cellular magnet at the core with a very negative charge. Venus was very beautiful because of the negative charge. Once Venus was formed, it stayed in balance with Mars. In mythology, Mars and Venus were married. They had a child called Harmonium, representing the balance and harmony that they created around the Earth. These three planets represent the three Gorgon sisters of mythology.
And so what mythology and science describe together is a system where Mars, Earth, and Venus formed a positive, negative, positive transistor state between the Z-pinch and Saturn. And it did so as a function of the memristor of the circuit. The Earth is the neutral point of the memristor within the solar system circuit. And by that I mean even to today. Athena is not just the core of our planet. She is a function of memory, as you will see.
Did matter come from non-matter? Of course not. It came from frozen light. Did life come from non-life? Here's Stinky for the big close.
In Disclosure 43, the Temple of Apollo and the Oracles of Delphi, I examined the archaeology behind a naturally occurring chaos circuit and pointed to the memristor of the circuit as being the specific place where access was possible to additional dimensions of reality and information. Did life come from non-life? Here's the location of the Delta Phi on Earth, and here is the location of the Earth within the Laniakea structure of the universe. Animal life is possible here as an electrical function, and if the Temple of Apollo was designed for humans to access spiritual consciousness through a memristive portal, then human consciousness was brought to Earth as a memristive effect. We are the memory resistor of the universal electric circuit. When they say we live in the center of the universe, they mean that we are the memoristive consciousness pulled into the universe. We are memory, going back and forth, life to life. Don't forget to click that like, share, and subscribe button for me, and leave me your thoughts down below. Peace out.